So they'll be calling you a radical. This is a historic video. Really a famous video. Somebody needs to sit me in a chair right there in front of the Stewart Library, and nobody on earth, nobody on the face of the earth knows more about the truth of the Fukushima disaster than Kevin Blanch. Nobody. Why? Because my undergraduate work here at the university that built it, I knew that these reactors were vulnerable. I had written paper after paper. Where's it going to happen? Fukushima. San Onofre. Now listen. So I just watched the Frontline documentary, and then I'll talk about Mark Hoffman doing his work right here and tie this together. That's all we hear all day. That this is what Utah's turned into, the F-35 ripoff. So stay with me. The Frontline documentary is incredible black and yellow journalism. I'm the one that termed that term, black and yellow journalism, of half-truths. This is how they play. They play with half-truths. Now, this is the blatant lie of the Frontline documentary. The blatant, right in your face lie. I just posted a comment and the link to the comment on the blatant lie of the Frontline. I'm sure they'll remove it. In the documentary, towards the end, it says, none of the Fukushima 50 workers have died of cancer. Yet their fate is unknown. The head of the Fukushima 50, Masano, mother sent me an email 10 days, 2 weeks before he died. She says, Kevin, he's going to die. Now, if you don't believe me, I had all the information from Japan, all of it. You go interview Rachel Godoya. She was in Fukushima. She's in San Diego. Go interview Kathy Iwani. She was in Fukushima. The only information, go interview Yoko Yakasama. Go interview any of them. They've all told me you were the only one. He died in 2013 of cancer. He's going to die. Many of them are dead. So the whole fairy tale. So Naino Khan, the prime minister at the time, who I've talked to face to face from Utah, he and I's had conversations, full blown out. Rachel has it on film, supposedly somewhere in Del Mar, California. He started to cry when he saw me. He came to me, Kevin Blanch. Oh my God. He bowed to me. Go ask him. Go ask Gregory Jacko about me inside the Situation Room. Go ask the Harvard freaking developer who formed the team. Go ask him about Kevin Blanch. Go ask him. He'd tell you, Kevin, you're the one. You're the one. Everything was being leaked to me because I was doing videos here. They're lying, they're full-blown on melt. I knew these reactors couldn't handle a freaking 8 point. And this fairy tale somehow that they got fuel 8 days later, water, is bullshit. You're telling me spent fuel pools can go 8 days without water. It took 8 days for them to get a pipe and pump. You're telling me a spent fuel pool can get 8. I know for a fact, I have the FOIA documents, that these spent fuel pools went into desert fire immediately. These cores blew up immediately. They continued to blow up for months and months and months and months. They're blowing up right now. The data that comes out, he told me to my face, NATO. I says, well, you're the one that built up the nuclear industry. Why are you turning on them now? It's too late. The United States made me do it, Kevin. He bowed to me. The Frontline documentary does not say one word about the USS Reagan. They failed to freaking go into the fact that they ordered evacuation all over United States military personnel immediately. Ask Rachel Godoya. They failed to report that Obama and crew, when he gave the speech on St. Patrick's Day, flown to South America. All the plumes coming over. They failed to report that immediately inside. Now I have the transcript inside the Situation Room. I have it. I've read it. I know word for word what happened in there. Immediately, it was not being run. These scientists flew over there 5-6 days later. It was being run immediately out of the Situation Room. John Holdren. I mean, I could go detail. By the way, classified. I can't really talk about it, but Holdren did an interview with a reporter. I'm the one that put her up to it. She got one interview. I'm the one that she briefed her on the second one. She says, I found a video of yours, John Holdren from hell. And she, whoa, I'm the one that put her up to the second interview. And he said he spilled the beans on Make It So. Cartwright, yeah, that guy who leaked it out, who was convicted to go to prison. You know, the Joint Chief, going to be the Joint Chief of Staff, that guy. The Navy Admiral says, I want it evicted. Now, so, all evacuated. The USS Reagan was there. They Frontline fails to report that Obama and crew, he relied on Cartwright, made the order, make it so. Now, I've later found out that's some kind of Star Wars rhetoric. I don't watch that shit. I have enough. I don't need to go into sci-fi. I have enough dealing with reality. They sent the USS Reagan in immediately to pump water. You know how many of those guys are dead? You know how many guys of those are dead? I was in the... We know the plume came right over here, right here in Ogden, Utah. Right here. We know. I was working in Shadow Valley. We know that it hammered here. We know because I was in the bone marrow transplant at LDS State with one of the Reagan sailors in 2012, by the dying of cancer. I went in the bone marrow transplant at 11/11/11. You think about that. To this day, they'll tell you we've never had an outbreak like we had then. The plume hammered here. I was given 2 months to live through this. I used to get hundreds of emails. I listened to the transcript in with being translated. I went to college with Mikado right there at the #1 school business. I taught there. This is the university that built it. Mikado, heir to the Japanese royal family. I was getting I got all the information, all of it, everybody. The only person on earth that was reporting it was Kevin Blanch. Everybody was sending me everything. I got everything. The Frontline documentary is... Somebody needs to sit me down in front of the Stewart Library. You know, Mark Hoffman did his work here. I knew Mark Hoffman. I could freaking talk about this in incredible detail. You know, I knew Melvin Duval personally. I knew him my whole life since I was a kid. When he forged Howard Hughes' will. I mean, I could... This has got me so pissed off. So, towards the end of the documentary, they say, well, no one has died from cancer. The blatant, bold-faced lie. I posted the link, reported all over the world media that he died of cancer in 2013. Dozens of them are dead. You're telling me. So, the Frontline documentary is trying to make the quantum leap that somehow the spent fuel pools had not blown to smithereens and were out of water immediately. And they had 8 days. And 8 days later, they got water on the spent fuel. So you're telling me a spent fuel pool can go 8 days, Frontline, without water and it's okay. They can't go 8 minutes without water. That's my work right here at this university. You know, they blackballed my work. I used to teach at this #1 school. You know, go check my freaking credentials. Go check them out. You know, I'll hand you over my transcript. Where's my PhD here? They don't award PhDs here. Oh, yes, they do. Somebody needs to sit me right down there. Nobody on the face of the earth knows more about the Fukushima freaking reality than Kevin Blanch. Nobody on the face of the earth, as I live to tell. Nobody. Their answer has been to kettle me, to squire. I've dedicated my whole life because I do know the truth. I know it's the greatest event in human history. I know it's the greatest crime in human history. The Frontline documentary is incredible. They'll be teaching it in schools of journalism on half-truths. The worst nuclear disaster in a century. It's the worst nuclear energy in human history. It's the worst ecological. They don't mention one word about the USS Reagan. Not one. You know how many of those guys are dead? You know how many? I mean, it's a total fairy tale. The new blanch particle, as I call it. You know, which I've said plutonium is now being confirmed. I mean, this has been nothing but a massive cover-up in the United States. I know word for word what. Sit me down right there and let's be interviewed. I can spill the beans on some of the situations. The attorneys have all fled from me. Everybody's fled from me. Which talk about March Madness. It's an incredible story that I was on this campus doing the work. I mean, my life here, this is who built the reactors. Floor construction, this is Fluor. This is GE. In the belly of the beast. The infamous Stewart Library, where Mark Hoffman did all his work. And I can get into that. You know, I know Mr. Russ very well personally. You know, his son just 200. I mean, how many, this special collections has been so poor around. The Brownies used to use an agent to police it. This special collections is so poorly run. This library's been so, you know, it's a grand, right? It's an incredible place. But special collections has been a joke for decades. The Brownies had an agent and police it. Anybody wrote anything negative about the war profiteers, they got rid of it. Hoffman did his work here. The half-truths that get told are disturbing. And they think this becomes history. You know, it freaks me out, actually. Bold-faced lie towards the end. None of the Fukushima 50 have died of cancer. This is one of the greatest lies in human history, Frontline just told. I just left a comment on their site. I says, oh, really? Here's the link. Masano died in 2012. I'm the first one that reported that to the world before he died. His mother sent me, I used to get hundreds of emails out of Japan. Hundreds. You, again, go interview Rachel Godoya. Go interview Kathy Iwani. Go interview Yoko. They'll tell you Kevin Blanch was the only one. You know, he's the one that told us the truth. Hasn't died. Chalk it up. So, somebody should sit me right down there. You're talking the greatest PhD in human history I've done. I talked to Narocom personally twice. Rachel supposedly has it on video, so I wish she could find it. You know, she fled. She had to hide in fear. You know, she did all that great activism there. She was afraid they were going to kill her and her children. The nuclear industry. Carry this burden around with you. Not to mention, I was given 2 months to live, fighting for my life. Not to mention, you know, kicked off Medicaid by Mike Lee, my chest freaking split open heart surgery. I mean, try this burden with no money. I don't know. You're talking the greatest story in human history. And here I live in poverty. Well, it's beyond heartbreaking. Carry this burden around with you. Because I've known the whole time all the truth. I've known the whole truth from fucking day one. Fucking Frontline. Talk about a fucking criminal act. Has not killed one of the workers yet. Oh my God, what a lie. Stand tuned in black and yellow fucking journalism from hell.